What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Puma 1 Chrome 17.1. And really, I think that the intro sums it up. The general response on the original Puma 17.1 I thought was fairly negative. I wasn't overly impressed with the shoe when it was first unveiled, and once I actually had the opportunity to try them, I just didn't think that the shoe was good enough in any specific category to really stand out from the crowd. We now have the Puma 1 Chrome 17.1, which is the same general design, but they've now gone full synthetic with the upper. The colorway is a lot different as well, and really it just changes the complete vibe of the shoe. Granted, it's a lot more expensive now with a $275 retail price versus $200 on the original Puma 1, which I think is too expensive if I'm being completely honest, but the shoe as a whole I think is greatly improved. So we're going to talk about the differences and really what this shoe is all about in today's video, as well as take a look at how they fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more, stick around, watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $275 retail price. Included inside the box is an extra set of SL or super light insoles. So it features a mesh liner versus the synthetic suede, and it has some perforations through the forefoot, single layer of foam, honestly not too far off from the comfort ones and not really that much lighter either. Plus, you get a string bag, which is white in color with the Puma logo on the front and then the Puma 1 branding, and you can kind of see it right there from the front, but really weird. It's got the little pocket on the inside, which is normal, which also has a Puma logo on it. So if you look inside, I guess it's so you don't forget it's a Puma bag. I'm not really sure. The main difference between the original Puma 1 and this newer Chrome version is the fact that the upper is entirely made from synthetic. The same synthetic you would find on the heel on the standard Puma 1, but because it's full synthetic rather than having leather towards the front half, you have one less seam that would normally be positioned right there. That might look like a seam, but it's actually just fused over top of the nylon strap. So it's kind of like an indentation for the thin synthetic upper. That actually sticks up above it a little bit, and the other seam remains the same at this point right here, which I would say is fairly out of the way, kind of the 2/3 point on the medial side towards the midfoot. You're gonna find that the synthetic material itself, which is simply listed as a synthetic upper, they haven't really given it a specific name, is super flexible. It's very thin, and it really offers a nice barefoot feel. So kind of more along the lines of what we had previously from Puma with their Evo Speed line, and in all honesty, not really much thinner than what you're gonna get from the current Evo Power Vigor 1, although this does have more of a pingy kind of barefoot sensation to it. That's really what I think this material is all about. Kind of got this crisscross pattern that offers a little bit of texturing on the surface, but for the most part, the upper is left pretty much completely smooth, so there's not a lot of extra grip on the ball. And just the fact that the entire upper is one piece of material, it looks very flowing and more seamless. I think it improves the look of the shoe a lot in comparison to the leather version, which I'm not sure if we do get more colorways of this shoe, if they're gonna be like this, or if they're gonna revert back to that older variation. But I really do like the way that this feels. And really, if you're looking for a barefoot sensation in general, across the entire foot, that's what this synthetic upper has on offer. The lacing system runs directly through the middle of the shoe, and you can see it's made up of standard lace holes and then these nylon straps. You can see it from the lateral side, like I explained a little bit earlier. You have two on the lateral side and one on the medial side. So basically those are lace loops, and they actually run into the base of the sole through the inside of the shoe underneath the liner and underneath the actual upper itself, really creating a lot of extra tension on the sides, kind of reinforcing the upper and what is otherwise a pretty flimsy type synthetic material. And it really does do its part in terms of stabilizing the midfoot. Admittedly, kind of the same experience I had with the regular Puma 17.1. They're very stiff and rigid. This is something that is not new for Puma. We originally saw this type of material, pretty much the exact same thing, introduced on the 2014 Puma King. So it's been around for a little while, and same with that shoe, it does feel fairly stiff. So if that's something that you're sensitive to through the midfoot area, maybe it isn't going to be the most comfortable thing for you, but pretty much just a standard lacing system aside from that, although it does play a big role in terms of the overall feel and comfort level of the shoe. And then of course the middle of this area, where there would normally be a tongue, is filled in with a knitted material that is cleverly named Evo Knit. not really that surprising. And that extends into the collar, as you guys can see, which for this particular color has a little bit of a glittery yarn at the top edges, which kind of makes it look like the shoe is dipped in glitter, kind of arts and crafts style, which personally I don't care for. I wish they would have just left it gray, but at the same time, I guess it doesn't look bad either. And really all this collar is just an extension piece on what is otherwise pretty much just a low-cut shoe. There's really nothing that feels dramatically different in regards to other mid-cut shoes or other low-cut shoes out there. Kind of just feels like a standard low-cut, but it's nice that it's there and it does give the shoe a pretty distinctive look, especially in this particular colorway. The heel area does feature an internal plastic heel counter. It's got this little piece right here that is purely for cosmetics, and I guess it's something to grab onto when you're actually putting the shoes on. Internally, the liner in the heel is just the same knitted material. It just continues onto the inside of the shoe with no extra padding whatsoever. It's something that I complained about with the original Puma 17.1, and it's carried over to the chrome variation, but I'll talk about that more during the on-feet portion of the video. The insole, fully removable. This is the comfort one. They do include the lightweight ones, like I showed you at the start. Synthetic suede lining on top, really nice actually, and then a single layer of this red foam. Nothing too fancy. And then the last thing to talk about here is the sole plate and stud pattern, which I think Puma is fairly underrated in regards to sole plate and stud patterns in general. They always have some of the best ones out there. This is a sole plate that's made entirely from a Pebax material, relatively thin, good flexibility through the forefoot, but also decent stability and rigidity through the midfoot and heel area where you need it. You're gonna find that the stud pattern is a fairly generic layout, kind of similar, I would say, to what you get from Adidas right now, but at the same time, I think a little bit more aggressive overall. You have bladed studs in the heel, conical studs at the base of the forefoot, bladed studs at the tip of the toe, and then an interesting kind of positioning for two bladed studs in the middle of the forefoot. Overall, very good stud pattern, and it does look different in this colorway because it has a chrome finish, but it is in fact the exact same sole plate and stud pattern originally seen on the Puma 1. In terms of weight, I think a lot of people would expect this version of the shoe to be lighter than the leather variation, but in fact, they're actually exactly the same weight. In a size 9.5 US, these guys weigh in at 7.4 ounces, which is exactly the same as the original leather version. No difference in weight whatsoever. So if you are trying to decide between the two, while I do think this is the better version that you should buy rather than the leather one, the weight should not be the deciding factor. As far as the look and general aesthetics of the shoe are concerned, I know I was really harsh with the Puma 17.1 in that launch color, and I'll stick by my opinion. I don't think that's a very good looking shoe, but the simple tweaks they've made by making the entire upper synthetic with this texturing and then giving it the chrome look, this shoe to me is one of the best looking shoes of 2017. I'm a really big fan of this design. I think it looks fantastic, and I'm generally not a fan of flashy stuff, but I am a sucker for chrome shoes. This reminds me a lot of some of those older chrome Mercurial Vapors, but at the same time it looks distinctively different just because of the unique design and general silhouette of the Puma 1. The chrome on the upper just looks really cool. It's kind of got this brushed chrome type look to it, so it's not super reflective, but at the same time it's got a nice shininess to it. I love the fact that it's just an outline for the actual Puma form stripe in what is basically like a really dark blue. Puma 1 branding there, very simple Puma logo right there, same for one right there, and then the Puma 1 branding on the front. The laces, they're more of a gray rather than a chrome, which I guess isn't quite the same shade. I also think that this knitted material could be a slightly darker shade of gray than what it is right here, where it almost has a little bit of a brownish tinge to it, I would say. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't love this glitter on the edge, but I see why they did it. It does make sense with the overall design. And then the chrome sole plate. I think that looks really cool on pretty much any shoe. And it does come with the warning label letting you know that this is a wearable finish, so it will chip off over time. Although as far as how quickly that will happen, it's difficult to say. It will scrape mostly on the bottom of the studs. I think as long as you stay on natural grass, really well-kept natural grass fields, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But if you start walking around on concrete or even wearing them on artificial grass, which they're not intended for, by the way, that will eat away at the finish on the sole plate much more quickly. But as a whole, I think this is an excellent looking shoe, probably my favorite design, or at least in my top 5 personal favorite designs as far as aesthetics and colorways go for 2017. But let me know your opinions down below in the comments. All right, so as you can see, I swapped out the stock gray laces for some metallic silver reflective SR4U replacement laces, which make the shoes look that much better in my opinion. It's already a great looking shoe, but these laces truly are the perfect match. It's almost identical to the sparkle you'll find on the edge of the collar. Anyways, if you guys are interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen, as well as a link down below in the description of this video. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. On feet, the Puma 1 Chrome feels really, really good. Very comfortable. The synthetic upper, super soft and flexible, especially in the forefoot toe box area. There's really no restrictiveness to it whatsoever, but there is definitely a high contrast in regards to soft flexibility in the forefoot and then a really stiff and rigid feel to the midfoot. And a lot of that has to do with these two nylon straps on the lateral side and the one nylon strap on the medial side. They really do their part in terms of securing your foot and locking it in place. But because there's only one on this side and two on this side, you really do feel those two strips as kind of pressure points on either side of your foot, which depending on your sensitivity to that kind of thing can be a little bit uncomfortable. For me personally, it does lead to some foot cramping if I do tie the shoes on the tighter side. So it's kind of a shoe that I have to wear a little bit more loose, which isn't ideal in regards to lockdown and responsiveness. So that's definitely something worth keeping in mind. And you also don't have that much responsiveness in general lockdown in the forefoot. It's not as locked in as I would like them to be in that area of the foot. So it kind of is missing that balance between softness and flexibility and also being locked down and secure on your feet. As far as that heel liner is concerned, there's not a lot of padding back there, which again, I'm not crazy about. I wish they would have put a little bit there besides just the actual knitted material, but for the most part, it's not horribly uncomfortable. And then my other complaint here would be in regards to the tongue, which is basically just that Evo knit as well, but there is a little bit of lace bite just because it is so thin. So when you pull those laces tight, it presses the laces against the top of your foot, and that can be a little bit uncomfortable. But again, some people are gonna be more and less sensitive to that kind of thing. As far as width is concerned, they've got a decent amount of width to them. Again, it's really, really snug through the midfoot when you tie the laces tight because of those nylon straps. So if you have a really wide midfoot, probably not the best option for you, but for most people, I think these will be suitable in regards to overall width. And as far as the sizing is concerned, I'm wearing a size 9.5 US here, which is a half size larger than my usual size 9 US, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, just like other Puma models, I would recommend going a half size up in order to achieve the best possible fit. So to sum up the Puma 1 Chrome 17.1, I do think that it's a definite improvement over the original version of this shoe. There are things about it that I don't care for as much. I still think the nylon straps and general stiffness that they provide through the midfoot is a little bit uncomfortable. I don't care for it as much. I wish the tongue would have had a slightly more I guess padded material or something that has a little bit more strength to it, so the lace bite wasn't quite as much of an issue, although that is something that you will get used to. The fit isn't perfect, but all of those issues aside, I think the main problem here is the fact that this is $275. So at full retail, is this a shoe that I would recommend? Not necessarily. I think if you want a thin synthetic boot, something from the Mercurial line, even something like a Nike Hypervenom Phantom 3, the low-cut version for $250, is going to be a much better shoe and a much better value. If you can justify the $275, or if you can get these on sale, I definitely think it's worth a go, but for $275, they definitely wouldn't be my pick. Anyways, guys, that is it for my review. If you guys are interested in a pair for yourself, again, you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below the normal $275 retail price. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comments and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. All my social media information linked down below as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.